Yeah, it's just, really, really proud of the kids. They're just so resilient. And, this was just, one more thing to add to making it a better story. It just seems like at every turn there's more adversity for these kids. And they just do a great job of, facing the brutal facts of reality of what we're dealing with and attacking it and saying, Coach, we're going to persevere, without exception. Doesn't matter to us. We're just going to keep on going. So they just been unbelievable every step of the way with all the adversity.
All right, we'll open up for questions.
Coach, defensively, you guys held them to about 200 yards of total offense. Just talk about the mindset that you guys had coming into this game, knowing that it was going to be, sloppy weather, but you were able to shut them down.
Yeah, I mean, that's an incredible, feat because, Jason's an unbelievable football coach and a great offensive mind. And, especially in the passing game. And then, we were concerned about 23, such a hard runner and can hit the home run on you, and you saw glimpses of that. And we were fortunate guys were, running to the ball. Our defense played incredibly hard. The defensive staff, great game plan. Coach Sanders calling his first game, his defensive coordinator did an unbelievable job. And it just was, it was a full defensive, unit effort to hold a team, to that amount of yards, especially as good as they are.
How do you keep a team focused when you have a delay of 2 hours like that? Because at that point, you really don't know when you're going to get back on the field or if you're going to get back on field, but still having that mindset to keep up what you did in the first three quarters.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, Vince Lombardi speech or, anything that can, do that for you. You just got to, hope that your players are locked in and hope that you've got the right, pieces on the team. And, it's not been a, one-time thing or one thing that we've done. It's been a process, and that process has been hard, building, that type of culture when, with going on with what's happened with COVID, because there's a lot to unify a team, and usually that's all about relationships, and it's been hard for our kids, to be able to get close to one another. But it's just a matter of them, really, truly caring about their teammates and wanting to do well for each other, and they just have, they just got a strong mindset.
Coach, you talking about that defense, Don Parker looked phenomenal. Had the interception, had the stop and play action there in the early first half, then also had the forced fumble that ended up being a big time stop for you guys. What can you say about Don Parker and just what he brought to your defense tonight?
Yeah, incredible. If you're making interceptions on the back end, it's because you're getting pressure on the front end. So our front three guys, our outside linebackers that were rushing the passer, we're getting pressure on them, all night. It didn't show up a lot in sacks, but it did show up a lot in hurries and him not being able to step up into the pocket and really make the throw that he wanted to throw. And that's a big deal with accuracy of a throw, especially with the conditions being like it is. So, Don did an incredible job. The back end did great. Actually, the one pick he got, he kind of got, had an eye violation and got in trouble and had to go catch up. And really, I think it was Alec Long did a great job of kind of covering for him and tipping the ball on the one he got. And I think Coach Sanders even told him, hey, all right, you messed that up. We got lucky. I'm going to bring you on this blitz, and you better get a sack. And he got a sack fumble, So it's, our kids were doing that all night, just staying positive and encouraging each other. And if somebody, did something wrong or, didn't do something so well, our guys were quick to say, hey, don't worry about it. Let's play the next play, and I got you. I'm going to do something here on this next play.
Right after that interception, Preston Rice hits Daquan Dallas for a beautiful 83-yard touchdown. Can you walk us through what your staff saw and maybe why Daquan Dallas was so open from your perspective?
Yeah, at first I thought maybe it was a busted coverage, but then, with the rain delay, the coaches, we were all sitting in the locker room, and Coach Hodges just said, hey, I told you guys that, whatever the play call that he called it, was going to be open, and that was the play to Daquan. So it's something they saw that they felt like they could get based, schematically on what UT Martin was showing us.
Coach, you talked a lot coming in about focusing on the run game and being committed to the run. You guys finished with 45 carries, 176 yards. Talk to me a little bit about what you saw to your offensive line and, more importantly, Witherspoon, the freshman.
I mean, unbelievable for offensive line. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to win football games, and And prior to us getting here, you know, it was a lot of passing and, you know, a lot of screen stuff. And so that's what the kids were used to, you know. So to be able to run the ball, you got to get a whole different mentality. And so our, you know, Johnson Richardson, our line coach, Evan McKissick, you know, helps with the tight ends and helps with the O-line some as well. You know, they just did an unbelievable job of coaching the kids, and the kids did incredible job of buying in. You know, it's very, very hard to trust, you know, when you're showing them something, you know, new, and there's that, you know, there's that piece of you that's like, well, I want to see it first before I totally buy in, and if you do that, it's never going to work. So, you know, very, very fortunate that our kids bought into what we were trying to do, running the ball. And, you know, Coach Richardson, Coach McKissick did an unbelievable job, you know, helping them, you know, teach them, you know, the techniques and the things they need. I'm really, really proud of our O-line and what they did. And really we had, you know, if you think about some of the negative, you know, plays on sacks and some of the holding penalties, you know, we really it felt like we rushed for a lot more than 145, you know. But I'll take 145. I feel like you gotta be able to run the football to have success. And you know, Spoon was you know, what we thought he was. You know, we were really excited when we signed him, and then, you know, through the practices that we've had with him, we really thought that he's a guy that was special, and he's the kind of back we want. You know, we want somebody that's a bigger back. You know, he's not tall in stature, but he's a rocked up kid, and he's a physical player, and that's what we want. Want to have a big back, a tough back that you can just keep handing the ball to him, and he just keeps getting better.
Coach, you and your staff, you've waited 18 months almost, I feel like, for this opportunity just to get out on the field and play. It's been snow, it's been rain, it's been every single possibility. You've had a pandemic. What was it like to just get out on the sideline and finally just call a play and be with your guys?
You know, it was incredible, and I really, honestly, until we actually kicked the ball off, you know, it's kind of like you're at war, and you kind of shudder when you hear a car backfire or something, you know, because you've been out there at war. It's kind of the same deal. Till we kicked it off, I was just kind of, you know, it just didn't seem real. I'm looking over my shoulder, you know, wondering, you know, what's next, and then we finally kicked it off, and it you know, felt really good to be back in the saddle. It was awesome to be with our team and with our coaching staff and actually, you know, doing what we love.
Coach, before the delay, it seemed like false starts, and then you had the field goal attempt blocked. But then when you guys started back up again, it felt like you played error-free football. What was it that in that final period where it counted the most? I mean, it was a tight game that your guys, Witherspoon was running really hard, had big gains, but it felt like the line was moving. There were no false starts from what I can recall.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt like they believed, you know, I just felt like, you know, that time spent in the delay, that there was a lot of good, you know, mindset and talk going on amongst each other about focusing on, you know, what matters. And that's the game and finishing the game out. And I think that showed with how they played.
And what do you want to, I know you're going to want to look at film, but moving forward, in a game with sloppy weather like this, you always want to get a W and learn from a W. But what were some of the things immediately you take away and you know that you're going to have to work on going in without actually looking at game film?
Well, really the disappointing thing with the weather is, you know, we really didn't get a 100% good feel about, you know, who our kicker is and who our punter is. You know, we thought we would get that. You know, I told the kids, you know, going into this game that, hey, both guys were going to kick and both guys were going to punt. I told you, you know, maybe this guy edged that guy in practice, and that's all good. But, you know, I need to see, you know, game production. So that's what we was really hoping, you know, that a kicker would rise to the top or a punter, you know, would rise to the top, and we'd have a clear, you know, 1 and 2. And we just didn't tonight because of the weather. You know, a lot of the stuff. I mean, it's hard to kick a field goal. You know, you're talking about that's probably maybe one of the greatest team plays that there are in football when you're talking about the timing and everything of the snap and the hold and the kick and how precise that is. And, you know, that just was off tonight, you know, because of the weather. So that's the one disappointing thing really about the day, is not being able to find out about the special teams, you know, side. But I think we found out a lot about our guys offensively and defensively and where we are and how we can move this guy around or that guy here, this guy there, and moving forward gonna hopefully improve.